Hey guys, Richard Blaine here, Mr. Easy Cooking. Thanks for stopping by my Easy Cooking channel tonight. Tonight, we're not going to be cooking any food because, as I told you in my last video, my house has been packed up. I got to go into my garage and find my pots and pans. So tonight, I'm not going to cook. Tonight, what you and I are going to do, we're going to hang around and we're going to get stoned. Just like the Bob Dylan song used to say, when you're tired and all alone, everybody must get stoned. Tonight we're going to get stoned. Tonight we're going to talk about sharpening stones. We're going to talk about the most basic of sharpening stones that people are familiar with. We're going to talk about Arkansas stones. Arkansas stones from the Ouachita Mountains of Arkansas. This is what most people are familiar with. They call it an oil stone, a spit stone, a sharpening stone. This is what most people are familiar with, and somebody asked me to do a video on this subject to explain what an Arkansas stone really is. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to sit around and we're going to get stoned. So as usual with YouTube, unlimited minutes, let's get going. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, now sitting around talking about Arkansas stones, many people come into the shop where I work and they buy these triple dipper sets of Arkansas stones to sharpen their knives, mostly their kitchen knives. This stone here, just in advance of the subject, this stone here says coarse, and a lot of people think that there is such thing as a coarse Arkansas stone, and guess what? There's not. This stone is not an Arkansas stone. This is a man-made stone. It's called Carborundum. It's a very old school stone. It's one of the original old school man-made stones. And yes, it does cut metal. Yes, it is very aggressive. And in my opinion, as far as man-made sharpening stones are concerned, it is the scourge of the earth. All right. It's in my opinion, if you need a triple dipper kit, stay away from a triple dipper that has the Carborundum and go with something, you know, like a Smith's kit. The Smith's kit comes with a diamond and then 2 natural Arkansas. I don't like Carborundum. That being said, that's my opinion. Some people do. And let's move on and talk about Arkansas stones. So, let's begin. There's a lot of misconception about Arkansas stones. So let me explain. It doesn't matter whether you have a white translucent, a soft arky, a hard arky, or a black surgical like my puppy right here. All Arkansas stones are natural quarry stones. They come from the earth. They're not synthetic. They come from the Ouachita Mountains of Arkansas. And another misconception is they are not graded by grit. They are graded by density, by the matrix of the novaculite crystals inside of these puppies, all right? If we want to talk about grades, all right, if we want to talk about grades, the soft Arkansas, right here, this is the most coarse of the Arkansas stones because the matrix of the novaculite crystals here is very wide open, so it's the most coarse, all right? Now, the medium Arkansas, which is actually a hard Arkansas, a lot of people call a hard Arkansas a medium, and a lot of people call it's kind of ridiculous. A lot of people call the soft a medium, and a lot of people call the hard a fine. But anyway, you have the soft, which has the most wide open pattern of novaculite crystals, and then you have the hard, which makes them a little bit tighter. But the hard Arkansas, or the medium, is less coarse. It refines the scratches from the soft Arkansas, okay? Now, the hard Arkansas itself, refining the scratches, after you use the hard Arkansas, you would use a stone like a white translucent Arkansas to refine the scratches even further, all right? It feels like glass. This is a very precious stone. It polishes the edge and refines those scratches. And then you have the black surgical, which in my opinion will refine the scratches even further. You must remember, Arkansas stones are oil stones, okay? And an Arkansas stone is finer than any other man-made synthetic oil stone on the planet, like an India stone, a Carborundum stone, or a crystalline stone, which are all man-made electric oven synthetics. You will never find a man-made electric oven synthetic as fine as God's given stones from the earth, these Arkansas stones. So as stated, to be short, Arkansas stones are natural quarry stones. They come from the earth. They are finer than any man-made synthetic oil stone on the planet, all right? It doesn't matter what you do. The Arkies are always going to be finer. So if you need to cut metal quickly, you might want to start with a synthetic oil stone and work it like this. You have a knife with an edge that's rounder than a baseball, and if you need to cut that edge quick, you would use something like a medium India stone or a fine India stone and cut that metal. Then you would go to the soft Arky, then you would go to the hard Arky, then you would go to either the translucent white Arky or the surgical black Arky, and then a strop if desired. But if you need to cut metal fast, if you don't have time, then you don't go with the Arkansas stones, you go with the synthetic stones first. Now, I get this question all the time, and that question is, which is the finer grit? And like I said, Arkansas stones are not measured by grit. But I get this question, which is the finer grit or the finer density and hardness? The white translucent Arky or the black translucent? And to tell you the truth, both of them are very similar in density, similar in hardness. The Arkansas, as I say, are graded, okay, by density, okay, by density, by hardness in the industry. Sometimes, and most times in my experience, the black is generally harder and generally finer, but that's not always true. The black translucent can have a slightly higher density rating over the white in some cases, but they're both very, very close. Because both translucent stones are natural quarry stones, both being novaculite, my last statement isn't always true. There are some times when the white translucent can actually put a better mirror polish than my black surgical. It doesn't always hold true, but there are times. They're both very, very close, and there are a lot of misconceptions between the two. But when you want to mirror polish the white or the black translucent Arky, which is roughly at about 4,000 grit equivalent, you can't beat it, okay? Most people, including me, can't really tell the difference between the two. Although I would say I have a little more experience with it than most, and I can tell depending on the grade of the stone, okay? But they're both excellent polishers, and for all intents and purposes, the white translucent Arkansas and the black translucent Arkansas, they're basically the same thing. No matter what you get, they're basically the same thing, and they will cut and polish the same way. Hard translucent stones are a little bit more pricey than other stones because they're basically the rarer form of the Arkansas novaculite stones. Okay, it's a resource that is dwindling, so when it comes to buying these translucent stones, they're going to get pricey. Okay, they're going to get pricey because they are Mother Nature's stones. So when you see a $100 price tag for a black Arky like this stone we sell for $50 in the store, the white translucent, it's because it's a resource that's getting harder and harder to find in quality batches. Okay guys, this here is a soft Arkansas stone, all right? The soft Arkansas stone is also called a medium Arkansas stone. It just depends on what part of the country you're from. It's the most popular of all the novaculite Arkansas stones available, and it's the one that is most readily available. It also is the one that has the loosest matrix density of the novaculite crystals required to sharpen. That's why the soft Arkansas is the most aggressive of the Arkansas stones. Okay. In difference to something called the Japanese Industrial Standard, which is basically a standard that all synthetic Japanese ceramic waterstones are graded by grit, the soft Arkansas stone is roughly the equivalent of 1,200 to 1,500 according to the Japanese industrial standard. So if I have this soft Arkansas stone laying next to a manufactured Japanese water stone, the equivalent grit of the Japanese stone versus the natural quarry stone is going to be between 12 and 1,500 grit. Okay, soft Arkansas stones, as I said, sometimes called medium Arkansas stones, impart a really keen, sharp edge for your knives. The softer medium Arkies are generally white, just like this, sometimes pinkish. Okay, sometimes they're pinkish. And sometimes they have black inclusions. Now in this one there's some brown inclusions, okay? And sometimes there's some gray inclusions. See if you see here. All right, I don't know if you can see it, but there are inclusions, and that's because it's a natural quarry stone. Now, when it comes to the hard Arkansas, which some people call the fine Arkansas, the hard Arkansas is a good polishing or finishing stone. It's used to maintain a fine edge on your knives, whether kitchen or pocket knives. And in some parts of the country, the hard Arkansas is also called a white hard Arkansas stone. Hard Arkansas stones have colorations in them, inclusions, because they are a natural quarry stone. Okay? They're not like the soft Arkies. What they do is they refine the scratches from the soft Arkansas stones, but they do have inclusions. Okay, and they come in many grits, many grits, many densities. Right here I have two hard Arkansas stones. Now this one here, if you see, has some inclusions, and it's probably very hard to see, all right? But it's very, very smooth. Then this one here is just about a perfect white hard Arkansas stone. Now, when I run my finger across this hard Arkansas stone that has inclusion colors, all right, this one feels more gritty than this almost perfect white hard Arkansas stone. So I would say that between the two, this almost perfect white hard Arkansas is going to provide the better edge between the two, because this one is a little more gritty, which tells me that generally the matrix of the novaculite crystals is more wide open and not as tight as this almost pure white hard Arkansas stone. This one is going to be the better finisher between the two. Now, back in the day, this particular grade of hard Arkansas, which this is just a fantastic piece. It feels so good. It just feels so good. Back in the day, this grade of hard Arkansas stone would also be called a true hard Arkansas. And it's also considered to be the finest grade of Arkansas available today, although it's not because of the advent of the translucent stone. But back in the day, this was considered to be the true hard. Okay, and it was also called a multicolored translucent stone because there would be inclusions, colors ranging from gray, red, white, black, or a combination of all. Okay, but this would be considered the true hard, but that's not the case anymore today. Now today, the translucent Arkansas, this here nice white translucent Arkansas, although it's not exactly white, there's some black inclusions, but the translucent Arkansas is also called the extra fine, okay? This is what I would call a true hard Arkansas, but many people refer to it as the extra fine Arkansas, and it really is included in the true Arkansas category of Arkansas stones. The true translucent Arkansas stones are graded by something called the density under gravity standard, okay? And if you want to get into that, it's a bunch of long ass scientific stuff, but these translucent Arkansas stones are graded by the density under gravity standard, specific gravity, which means specific gravity is the ratio of the density of a substance to the density of a reference substance, being water. Equivalently, it's the ratio of the mass of a substance to the mass of a reference substance, being water, for for the same given volume. Okay, specific gravity is the ratio of the weight of a volume to the substance of the weight of an equal volume of the reference substance. The reference substance is nearly always water at its densest at 4 degrees Celsius for liquids. That's a lot of harebrained flacking garbage for us to, take up and deal with, but that's how these translucent Arkies are graded. Now, translucent Arkansas stones, such as this one here, can be brown or gray, yellow, white, even pinkish at times, just depends on how they dig it out of the ground. But my favorite happens to be the true hard Arkansas stone in opaque white like this, even though there's a little bit of black, okay? But opaque white like this one here, okay? Many grinders, or dudes who like to sharpen with Arkansas stones have their own color preferences. It's more like a superstition with them. They prefer certain colors. They think one color works better than the rest. But when the matrix of novaculite is this tight, they basically all work the same. Now let's talk about black translucent Arkansas. We've already spoke about the white translucent Arkansas. Let's talk about the black translucent Arkansas. These surgical black translucent Arkansas, they're considered to be quote-unquote the ultra-fine Arkansas in nature. Okay, these are the stones that are really dark blue or really dark gray or jet black in color like this one here. Okay, when I got this one, this was a top quality piece of rock, okay? This has no inclusions, it's totally black, and I don't use oil with it, okay? I use water with it. The density structure of the black Arkansas is called cryptocrystalline novaculite because it's the most dense novaculite stone available today. That's why these surgical black Arkansas are so expensive. Okay, the density of the surgical black Arkansas allows it to give the finest quality polished finish of all other quarry Arkansas stones that come out of the Ouachita Mountains. All right, it's a beautiful natural quarry stone, and it's getting harder and harder and harder to find. Let me just mention here that the density rating of Arkansas stones doesn't apply to any other abrasive stone on the market, whether this particular stone is a natural stone or a synthetic stone. The density rating of the Arkies does not apply to any other stone, okay? What this means is that the soft Arkie and the hard Arkie can look and feel the same in every way, but in fact the soft Arkansas will cut faster than the hard Arkansas and will leave more scratch on the edge due to the fact that the novaculite crystal, the matrix structure, is looser on the soft than it is on the hard. But the density rating of these natural puppies doesn't apply to any other abrasive stone on the market, whether it's natural or synthetic. Now, to tell you the truth, the fact of the matter is that there's no Arkansas stone on the planet that will polish as well as the equivalent Japanese synthetic ceramic waterstone of equal or higher grit. Okay? The Arkansas won't cut as fast and they won't polish nearly as well as those Japanese counterparts, and that's fine. The difference between the two types of stones can be seen when you're sharpening steels of a higher Rockwell hardness, say a Rockwell 62 to 64 and above, all right? The Japanese stones will cut and or polish quicker than the natural Arkansas stones will, and that's okay. That's all right. That's what they're there for. So then one would ask, why would people choose to have Arkansas stones over the Japanese industrial synthetic ceramic stones? And one reason would be that the Arkansas don't need to be lapped or level nearly as much as the Japanese counterparts. All right, the lower grit Japanese counterparts, 200, 400, 600, 1000 grit, for God's sakes, you sharpen one knife and you've got to level that stone. Now, a soft Arkansas stone, if you use the real estate correctly, you might have to level once a year, but a Japanese synthetic ceramic, you're going to have to level just about every time. The other reason somebody would choose an Arky over a Japanese synthetic is the fact that the harder novaculite matrix of the crystals can go longer in between the leveling of the stones, because it is much tighter and it is much harder. All right, the harder of the Arky stones don't get gouged, okay, like the softest or even the hardest of the Japanese ceramics. If you hit the blade to the stone the wrong way, you're going to chip the stone or gouge the stone, and the Japanese synthetic ceramics are notorious for being chipped or being gouged, okay? In most cases, I say, the Arkansas stones are the more affordable than the Japanese water stones, except when you start getting into the translucent white or the surgical black. Then these natural quarry stones are going to cost more in grit and in price than the Japanese synthetic. There's also standards. A trend today of people using their Arkansas stones dry, okay? No water, no soap, no simple green. They're using them dry instead of wet, and that's okay. That just means that the stone cuts faster, but that also means that these stones are going to fill up with metal filings that much faster as well. So there's a give and take. Okay. If you don't mind the give and take, that's fine. If you use the hard Arkies, the soft Arkies, and the translucents dry, they're going to fill up with metal filings faster than if you have a carrying medium that takes the swarf off the stone. There are people trending toward using the stones dry, and the give and take is that they suffer the drudgery of having to clean the stones more often than usual. And in some cases, when you want to clean the stone, you can use something like this. This is called an eraser block, and basically it's a foam rubber of sorts that's impregnated with something like pumice, okay? And you basically rub the stone just like this, and you see that? You see that? Those are metal filings that have been imparted into this white translucent Arkansas stone, because I tuned up one of my EDCs on earlier today. There you go. See how nice and opaque that is? But you see all that garbage? Okay? You see all that? That came out of that white translucent stone because I used it dry and it filled up with metal filings. Okay? Now it's back to its opaque nature, and there's the junk. Okay? These eraser blocks are good on the Arkies. These eraser blocks are good on the diamonds. But that's how you clean an Arky stone if you want to use the Arky stone dry. All right, now here's a piece of advice for you. There's a trend lately, okay, of stone cutters to take stones such as this 10 by 2 by 1 surgical black Arky, okay, and cutting it in half lengthwise from 1 inch to a 1/2 inch stone or 1/2 inch plate. I would advise anybody that's into sharpening or learning sharpening to stay away from the 1/2 inch thick plate. First off, stone cutters are doing this because the black surgical and the white translucent is a resource that's getting harder and harder to find. It's easier to cut a 1 inch stone in half lengthwise to make money. It's all about money. The problem is when you have a 1/2 inch thick stone like this, you're going to need a special holder, or you're going to have to use a piece of 2 by 4 with a damp towel and the 1/2 inch piece on top. Ideally, you want something that's either 8 by 2 by 1 or 10 by 2 by 1 like this. This is a 10 by 2 by 1, and as far as I'm concerned, the best value on the market. Stay away from the 1/2 inch plates. Okay, as I've already stated, the translucent stones, like the white translucent or the black surgical translucent, these stones can get quite pricey because they are a natural resource, and they are a natural resource that is dwindling. Personally, if I buy one, I will buy one from Norton, St. Gobain. As far as I'm concerned, Norton has the finest quality stones out there. I would also advise that, like I said, if you're interested in the dark Arkies, stay away from the new school 1/2 inch thick stones. And also, in my opinion, stay away from the new school combination Arkansas stones that are being made to compete with the combination Japanese water stones where you have, where you have 2 different grits like this. In my opinion, stay away from the bonded Arkansas stones. I've had companies and I've had people give them to me to try out, and in my opinion, the bonding between the 2 different grits has given way and the 2 stones have fallen apart. So stay away from the 1/2 inch thick plates. Stay away from the bonded combo Arkansas stones. They're just not worth the money, in my opinion. I wouldn't drop a dime on the combo bonded Arkansas stones ever again. I've not had good results at all. That being said, as you all know, the only stone I use is this here surgical black Arkansas stone, because basically I'm a diamond plate guy. I do, however, really like the polished finish of the black Arkansas stone, even though I do have the DMT specialty 4,000 and 8,000 plates. I happen to like the grit polish finish I get from this stone. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on Arkansas stones, and I hope you comment, like, and share. And I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next video. Hey guys, Richard Blaine here, Mr. Easy Cooking. I want to thank you for stopping by my Easy Cooking kitchen tonight. Even though we didn't cook anything tonight, we got stoned. We talked all about Arkansas stones, so we all got stoned. When we're tired and all alone, everybody must get stoned. Stones are what we need in our kitchen to sharpen our knives. And anybody that's a professional chef or a gourmet home chef needs to know how to sharpen their knives and what kind of medium to use to sharpen their knives. So I would suggest, if you're new to sharpening your knives, to check out my knife sharpening playlist. But I want to thank you for stopping by tonight to watch this video tutorial on Arkansas stones. I'll do other tutorials on other kinds of stones, but I want to thank you for stopping by here. So I will see you on the next video. I'm going to be doing some Japanese food, I think, in the future. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.